Hi guys, it is me Bishop Jeff from Camp Gilgal TV. Today it is our podcast on opinion, principle, and slash biblical covenant. I want to study and to start this subject of biblical covenant because when our entire relationship with God turn on the condition of a covenant, it becomes important to understand the meaning of covenant as given by the Bible. Everybody must arrive to understand the meaning of a covenant as given by the Bible. The Bible teach the word covenant, and the Bible teach us what it means. And all of us as believers, we need to arrive to understand that, because our relationship with God, it centers on the covenant that we have with God. That's why you need to be careful when you say, I have a covenant with you. You need to be really careful by that word, because if you cannot arrive to fulfill that covenant, then you are breaking it. Covenant is the old English word. It took that word from the French word, which is convenir. And that convenir, it divided to two. Come as come, and venir as come. That come together. Now you put it together, and then to say come together. The word come from covenant, old English word, come from the word convenir, which is from French. Now, if you want to put it the meaning, then it say covenant word mean to come together, or a pact that we are undertaking between you and somebody. Is a pact, and it is an agreement. That word covenant means to come together. It is a pact. It is also mean as an agreement, and it was a word used to summarize an agreement between two people, or more than two people, or a group of people. That way the word covenant is. When I say I am taking covenant with you, that's what it means. It's like when I took my covenant with my wife to get married with her, it is a covenant that we need to go with it until the end. I'm not teaching on the marriage. That's why there is a loss in translation when people start getting divorced. You need to know, when you decide to enter in covenant with somebody, you need to go to the end. I'm not teaching that. Okay. The word covenant, it's used in the Bible, in the Old Testament Bible, 272 times. 272 times you find the word covenant used in the Old Testament. In the New Testament, this word covenant, it used 33 times. 33 times the same word is used in the New Testament. If you put your mathematics together, you will have the number. Some translation of the Bible, we have many translation of the Bible. New King James Version is my preferred one. And the Old King James Version is also what I love. And there is Messengers, NIV, all of these translation of the version of the Bible that are out there. Now, some of them use the word, instead of covenant, they use the word legal. Some of them use the word agreement. You see, it is an agreement instead of using the word covenant. Now, the word in the Hebrew Bible, it is called berith, B-E-R-I-T-H, berith. That where that word come, it translated literally. It mean, some of it to mean alliances, some of it to mean friendship, alliance or friendship. Like here we have the tripartite alliances between ANC, SSCP, and COSATU. You understand that? If in Mzansi, you'll know what I mean. Alliances of friendship. It also means a pledge. Somebody is pledging to something. That is the word covenant. It also means an obligation between a monarch and his subject. An obligation between a monarch and the subject is like in England. What you call the Queen of England have an obligation to his subject, which is the British people. And it could also mean a constitutions. That means all these countries that they have constitution, it also their covenant, because we also you'll hear politicians say no one is above the constitution. It just means no one is above the covenant. That think a moment of the covenant that are mentioned in the Old Testament. By the way, those who go to where you want to buy a house, for example, in the country where I am, you want to buy a house or you are renting somewhere, you sign a lease of your renting for a year. It is a covenant. It is an obligation. You pledge to fulfill that. When you sign a bond to buy a car, you pay every month, you sign it. And if you cannot fulfill what you signed, they will come to retake because you are breaking the covenant you have signed with that institution of money. In the Old Testament, covenant that are mentioned are Adamic, Noahic, Abrahamic, Mosaic, and Davidic. These are the covenants that are mentioned. And let me say to you also, in the New Testament, because it is written in Greek, the word covenant there, it comes from the word diatheke. Diatheke, it is diatheke, diatheke. That it's primarily signifying a disposition of a property by will or otherwise. A disposition of a property by will or otherwise. God has placed man in the Garden of Eden to look after God's property. We were placed there to look after God's property. By sinning, man forfeited his right of looking after God's property. He forfeited also his righteousness. He forfeited also his relationship. He break that covenant. These are the introduction of the covenant I'm giving to you. And then let me tell you how many of covenant that we have in the Bible. We have 8 covenant. 8 covenant. I'll go through it every time I post my opinion and principle / biblical covenant. We will go one by one. Next time I'll start by Edenic covenant. There is 8 covenants in the Bible. Number 1 is Edenic covenant. Number 2 is Adamic covenant. Number 3 is Noahic covenant. Number 4 is Abrahamic covenant. Number 5 is Mosaic covenant. Number 6 is Palestinian covenant. Number 7 is Davidic covenant. Number 8 is a new covenant. This is the introduction of the biblical covenant. You don't need to say I'm entering. Don't even enter covenant with your pastor. Be careful of what you're saying, I'm entering covenant. See you soon. I love you all. That was Bishop J. If you are not yet subscribed, please punch the button below and like the video. Don't forget to do that. Like the video and share it, that people must arrive to understand the gospel. It is a Bible study on biblical covenant. Every time, take your paper and write down. I'll give you all the ammunition. God love you and I bless you all in Jesus' name. Bye.